Welcome everybody. It is 7 o'clock in the PM. I'm on time. Welcome to See You in the Evening. Y'all, if y'all are avid fans of my show, See You in the Morning, you know I don't normally show up on time, but I'm on time today, on time and ready for See You in the Evening. I'm in the dark as I can be today. Darkness. If you know anything about my show, if you've been watching, you know that I'm having ring light trouble. I had to order a new ring light. So let me get some housekeeping on the way. You all watching See You in the Evening, offset, not like the Migos, just a different kind of offset of a branching off, a subsidiary of the See You in the Morning brand. I'm of course your host Cletus Cassidy. If this is your first time hearing this, you're about to experience something so cold. If you have been here before and you found it not robbery to come back again, I appreciate you because you could have been anywhere in the world, but you chose to be here with me. I am here today with probably one of the best episodes I think I'm going to have. And I'm going to tell you why I feel like I'm excited about this episode and why this episode brings me joy. This episode brings me joy because this is me doing my civic duty. This is me working. This is me actually taking my platform and making it worth something rather than my just normal foolishness. So, of course, the comment section is open. You can make comments. You can ask questions. You can do all of that. But today's episode is something that is dealing with local politics. If you know me at all, if you follow me at all, I'm aware of the national political scene. I know who the president is, vice president. I'm aware of all those things. Those things don't matter as much to me. The national presidential scene doesn't matter as much to me because in the grand scheme of things, what Trump doing up there, whoever's cat Trump is feeling don't affect me that much. Whatever bike Joe Biden is falling off doesn't affect me as much. But right here, my local government in the city that I live in is affected to me. So for me to be able to be an effective part of my community, I try to indulge myself and be a part of some of the things that are going on in my local community. So recently, to bring those up to speed who may not be aware of what's going on, recently we had a change in city managers in our city. Portsmouth, Virginia is a city manager run city, which means the city manager runs the day-to-day operations of the city. However, the city manager does answer to the city council. City council is 7 people who we've elected. They are elected positions. The city manager is an appointed position. They appoint or hire our city manager who manages the city, but reports back to them. There's a system of checks and balances there. The city council can't just do anything willy-nilly. The city manager is supposed to be like, hey, no, that's not good. But a city manager also can't just do anything willy-nilly. That's not good. We are now in our city on our 75th city manager in the last 5 days. We just listen. If you ever want to go to a turnstile, I remember growing up going into a place called Bradley's. Bradley's had the most amazing turnstile when you walked in. If you ever been to the subway in New York, there's a turnstile. This is what we have in that position of city manager. We have had multiple city managers, associate city managers, people right under them. It's been a pure. I can't even describe what it's been. But the last interim city manager that we had lasted for 1 year and 3 months in the position as an interim position, as they did what they called a comprehensive nationwide search to find the best city manager, no matter where that person would be. Apparently, Portsmouth is not part of the nation. When they did a nationwide search, apparently Portsmouth wasn't part of the whole nation because apparently being here was the biggest hindrance to being elected or selected into that position. Nevertheless, always the more they relinquished the city manager, a young lady named Mimi Terry, who was in that position. And she actually went out very demure. Did way better than I would have done. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, you fire me, you just have a meeting and tell me I ain't working no more. I'm flipping tables. I'm coming in there. I'm probably going streaking. But she handled it with some of the best composure that I've heard anybody do. She did not act out. She didn't make a mockery of the people. She just kind of just faded off into the background. However, I don't believe that the council was prepared for there to be backlash from both employees, other city officials, citizens in the city. A lot of them felt some kind of way about Miss Terry being let go of her duties. I don't think they expected that. I don't think that was something they expected. And because they ended up with egg on their face and not in a restaurant, I think they began a campaign to smear her name, her work, and the things that she's done. And the way that they did that was they took jabs at the current mayor as a veiled attempt to talk bad about her, because the mayor took up for her. The mayor voted for her to stay in a position. He said he was disappointed that they didn't bring her in, and he had the audacity to call her his friend. That was his biggest crime. He said that's my friend, and when you are my friend, you're my friend, and that was a crime against nature for some of the council members. So some statements were made at the city council meeting last night that really disparaged Miss Terry. And after she got wind of those comments, after she heard some of them, she just asked me if I minded letting her come on and tell her side of the story. So here we are today at Club Shay Shay, with Loose Pants and a love of women. No lisp. We in here. We doing it big. And so without further ado, I'm going to bring her on. If you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. Also, since all y'all watching at this point, remember my show goes all sponsorship. I love it. If you just give me $1 a week, if you just send me $1 to my Cash App, that's fine, because ain't nobody else paying me to be on the show. So $1 is all you got to send me. I'll be happy with that. And that Cash App's right at the bottom is Cletus Comedy. But without further ado, if y'all don't mind, I'm going to go into my Hamilton routine real quick. If you've seen Hamilton, y'all know where we go. Here comes the interim. Ladies and gentlemen, here comes the interim. The moment you've been waiting for. Here comes the interim. The pride of Mount Herman or Cavalier Manor. Mimi Terry. What's going on, Miss? Did you just root for yourself, though?
I did.
You
but
just
remember, I'm not interim anymore. I'm citizen Mimi.
You are now just citizen Mimi. I love how y'all do that. The former mayor, and look, I'm finna sit here and eat me some dinner at the same time. The former mayor, he used to do that same thing. He calls himself now citizen right. So Mimi, let's do this. I'm gonna get into it. We're gonna try to compact this into an hour, even though I know you got a lot that you want to say. We're gonna try to compact this into an hour. Let's ask this first question. People are coming in. Yay, me. I think these are heart hands. We love you, me. We love you, me. There's always three sides to every story. We're gonna try to get to all three sides, Ernest. We're trying to get to all of this. It's a triangle, at least. Let's get some background on this. So you just most recently you were in the position of interim city manager for the city of Portsmouth. How long did you hold that position?
For the second time, a year and 2 months. So remember, I was interim before when Angel Jones was let go.
And how long did you sit there then?
90 days.
Okay, so that was a quick kind of a turnaround. That was 90 days you came back in. What other roles have you sat in the city or for the city? So you said interim city manager. So a total of 90 days is 3 months, 2 months, 5. So 17 months as interim city manager. But what other positions did you hold for the city?
So I came in as the CFO in 2020, in March of 2020. And from there, I was actually the chief financial officer from when I came in 2020. And then when Angel Jones came in, she liked my style of work and how she loved my diligence. So she had me actually drag me upstairs to be deputy. We had a whole argument about me coming upstairs as deputy, because I know in those positions, the turnover in those positions is huge. And so, and I knew if she left, the possibility of me being gone would be about 100% possible.
All right, so let's stop right there, right? So when you have that position, explain to the people why it's such a volatile position. There isn't really a lot of job security in that position as the city manager or even the deputy. Why is that?
So I'll even start with the CFO position.
Okay.
When I came to Portsmouth in 2020, from 2015 to 2020, there were 4 CFOs, 4 chief financial officers in that role from 2015 to 2020, with 2 of them, 4 permanent and 2 which were temporary or acting. So
So is that 6 total?
6 total.
In a 5-year span, we had 6 chief financial
Right.
officers. Oh, okay.
And when I came to the city was behind in their
A
annual
minute.
report. So they hired me to come in and pretty much try to catch the city up. And what I also want to say is I don't have my CPA. A lot of people are saying, oh, she doesn't have her CPA. I didn't have my CPA when I was hired, and it wasn't a requirement because, like you see in most jobs, if you don't have your a certification, what do they say? They say,
Job
hey,
experience.
job experience can trump that. So I had 26 years of job experience. So in doing
Hold
somewhat
on with that. Hold on, because I want us to hold on to that number. How many years of job experience did you have when you came into the position in 2020?
I already had 20. I've been here 4 years, 23.
So you already had 23 years of experience. Was any of that in municipal or city government?
Yes. It was in nonprofit, it was in municipal government, it was in education, it was in private,
Hmm.
and it was in public. So I've worked all the way to the city of Richmond, in which the
Okay.
population is double our size. And they don't have a city, they're a strong mayor form of government. So they don't have a commissioner and they don't have a treasurer. So finance, all of that falls under finance. And so I was the
Okay.
deputy finance director, pretty much there.
Got you. So and I want everybody to note what you just said about the 23 years of service prior to coming here, then the additional, so about 26 years of experience you have. Okay, continue.
I forgot what we were talking about.
We were just talking about how you got into the position.
Oh, yeah. So Angel Jones came in, and Angel was only here for a year. So while I was here I came under Dr. Patton in 2020. She left. Then they had Lavoris Pace as a interim. Then they hired Angel Jones, and then that's when I came in as the Oh, Cleese, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I was giving you the spotlight. Let me run the technical
Can we
stuff.
talk about that with my forehead? I don't need to put this
Listen,
up.
they see your forehead regardless of whether you enlarge or not. Listen,
It's the
when
light.
that pastor put his hand on your head and said, "Enlarge my territory," that was all that happened. It was
Look,
just forehead. So
when he
you fine. You look great.
look when he puts the oil on, I gotta do like this because it be
Right.
shining like this. Okay,
That
so you may forget. So when Angel Jones came, I was there with Angel Jones as deputy, but I still held the CFO position because we couldn't find a CFO. If it took Portsmouth had such a stigma for turnover as the chief financial officer, nobody would come. We've had the job open probably for the last 4 years, and any people that we get in the position or not position because we couldn't hire anybody, they were either right out of college, no local government experience. So the position has been open since I've been upstairs, not upstairs now, but in the city
you
manager.
in your house now. So basically, you were doing double duty. Not only were you running the city as a city manager, but you were essentially a chief financial officer, even though you had people underneath you doing finance and doing budgeting and things of that nature. You were in charge of all that.
Yeah, because what happens is anything that happens in the city, if you don't have an understanding of the finances, what are you going to do? As a city manager, you're stuck. You have no idea what's really going on and what's the affordability and what project. I mean, anything affordability wise. So if you don't have an understanding of the financial position of your locality, how can you move forward in making sure anything happens? Especially in Portsmouth, because the majority of our property is, well, a large portion of our property, over 40 some percent, is tax exempt. So you don't get the opportunity to say, oh, I have this stream of income. Oh, I have this stream of revenue. You have to budget and manage what you have. You still have projects. You still have 100-year-old infrastructure system that needs attention. You look at Churchland today, I'm sure it was underwater
They
because
had to let the
projects.
schools out. They had to let schools out early today because of the flooding.
It's a neglect of work. It's a neglect that we've done in the city for a long time. And while it was either because we didn't have the funding, we didn't have the people to be able to do the work, or we were just we were on reactive. So there was no true maintenance. Everything is reactive. If this breaks today, I'll go fix it. but it's a longer term, it's a longer goal, it's a longer process. Change it, and then you change your pipe. You don't put a band-aid on it if it's broke. If it's broke 10 times, why are you putting a band-aid on it? Change it.
Go and fix it. So I actually had a story. I think one of the Civic League presidents, or he may not be a president, but he's deep in the Civic League. He came out and said that they had a sinkhole that kept coming in the street in their neighborhood, and they would keep coming out there and basically putting a band-aid on it, just paving over top of it. He said you came out to look. You actually came out of your office, came and look. You're like, no, man, that ain't what this is. This is something deeper than that. And you actually had the pipe fixed. And he was like, you were the first city manager he'd ever seen. And this is an older gentleman, and he's about 97 years old. He said, this is the first city manager that I've seen. And he told me, I go way back on city managers that I've ever seen come out in the field and look at a problem and address it in that way. So even in the interim position, so we didn't have a city manager for a while. They had an interim position. They decided while you were sitting in that interim position for the second time. So the question that a lot of people are asking is, well, they didn't do right by you the first time. Why did you come back a second time?
I think when you're on assignment, you don't consider any of that. You just know that if God tells you you're going to do something, you're going to do it. If the door opens, you walk through it. You continue to ask yourself questions, you're going to change your mind. I will say something that I hadn't considered. Jermaine Green, don't know him, never met him. He came up and stood in front of City Council one evening when they decided to do the recruitment. Jermaine Green said, every time something is broken, y'all call Mimi. Aren't you tired of being a substitute teacher? Let me tell you something. To Jermaine Green, thank you. Because I had not even given it a second thought. When duty called, I live in Portsmouth. From Portsmouth, families from Portsmouth. I want to see a better Portsmouth just like you all do. So when duty calls, I show up. I don't think about, hey, they may not hire me. They don't want me. They keep calling me back to fix it, but they never give me the position. I'm tired of being a side chick, of course, as it relates to the job, because that's what it is. And then you come in, you do everything you're supposed to do, and then they're going to marry off somebody else. And I think that it's unfortunate for the citizens because they've actually seen a change. No shade to the new guy. I don't know him.
So let's put this out there, because I don't have any shade to the new guy. I have no idea what this new guy might be. This new guy might come in. He may be the greatest city manager in the history of all city managers. Now, but we don't know that. We have no idea who this man is. He hasn't shown us anything. We don't know anything. All we know is that he's been working in Albany, Georgia for the last, and somebody wrote it out for me like that, Albany, Georgia for the last 2 years, a city that's smaller than us, a city, but still has very similar problems to what we have. Now, they came to you. I've always called you Olivia Pope. That's what I've said about you. I've been like, he said he called you a substitute teacher. You called you a side chick. I wanted to be a little more positive. I want you to be Olivia Pope without sleeping with the white man. Now, who you sleep with is all up to you. I don't have nothing to do. That's not why we're here tonight. But you're not sleeping with the president. Or
the mayor.
Or the Lord, let's put that out there. Or the mayor. Thank you. So I've always called you Olivia Pope because they call you in to come and fix it. It's broke. Let's call her. Right? Yeah. So you're in this position, but they still say once the position opens, you're there. They want to do a nationwide search for a new city manager. Now, for those people who don't know why I believe this happened, it's 100%. This is me talking, not anybody else, not me, Terry. This is me. It's because of the malfeasance of the councils before. I believe you are not single-handedly, but you are paying the price for the bad decisions that they made before when they attempted to bring in friends. And I'll say name. Oh no, I won't say name. I'll go back to nicknames. When Big Baby Daddy and Not Quite Esquire, and brought in the party promoter and had him recommend a man for city council for city manager. out of the blue. It was nobody asked him, nobody even mentioned it. He just was like, this is who I want to be city manager, out of nowhere. They then put another young lady in the position, and it came out that she wasn't qualified to be in the position, not because of her work ethic or anything, but because at the time she had pending fraud charges, so we couldn't keep her in. They tried to bring in a city
along the way.
She got hired, and then they had to let her go, end up having to pay her severance. They tried to hire a city attorney. The city attorney ended up being the attorney who was Big Baby Daddy's attorney. Clearly a conflict. They tried to bring in an assessor. That didn't work. So everybody that they hired ended up being bad. And so one of the things that we said is, because y'all are just sliding all your friends in, all because we are friends in, now we're going to do this nationwide search. Kristen Hunter makes a great point. She said, but prior to you being on the council, they kept saying what we need is somebody from Portsmouth because they know Portsmouth. But suddenly it was, now we need somebody from Albany, Georgia. I don't know how somebody in Albany, Georgia can tell us what's going on here. They changed their mind when it came to you. So it came down to, then basically they were just hiring their homeboys and homegirls. So now we have to do this nationwide search. And you come down to the final three. I think they said there was a final four, but one person withdrew himself. He was like, "No, cuz I don't want none of that." So it came down to three people. Did you actually interview for the position?
Oh, absolutely. They interviewed three candidates, me and two other candidates. I think one of the candidates, they decided they didn't consider him. And then this guy, the guy that
they ended up getting. Okay. So you went in for the interview. Good. You felt pretty good in the interview, but you ultimately didn't get hired. You ultimately weren't hired. So total transparency. I know you in these streets, not biblically, but I do know you. When you didn't get hired, it was a shock to me. I thought you were best for the job. I called you to offer you words of encouragement, and you came out encouraging me. You was like, "Cuz I'm good. I ain't worried about it. I'm Ice Cube. They NWA.
And I'm Ice Cube." And I write Ice Cube wrote that's my favorite. Thanks for bringing that up. Ice Cube wrote all the lyrics for NWA for every person, every part. He came up with the logo. He was
the name.
The name. He was a gift. He was a talent. And you know what? All he asked for was make it fair, make it equitable. Because
that's all you've been doing. So you moved, and Ice Cube has moved on, and he's going on to great things. And NWA ain't worth a darn anymore.
And here's the caveat to that story. Two things. Not only did he move on, but he didn't even look back until they bothered him and came after him with a diss track. So how you go?
And that's exactly where we are
in the gift trap, because he moved on because you didn't want him. And so I think that makes no sense. And then when he annihilated him, it was like, why y'all mad? I didn't come knocking at your door. I didn't come to the council meeting. Matter of fact, I should go put on my green sweater as a reminder that here we go again. Because I've had to do this once before. Why do I always have to defend myself? Why do anybody have to take jabs at me? I'm minding my own business. I'm moving on, because my thing is, if this door is closed, there's something amazing for me waiting on the other side. This is my quantum leap, and I was on my way to the portal, but something shook the portal door and said, whoa, they talking crazy. Let's go back and remind them of what just happened. So in
an amazing example of art imitating life, when NWA wrote a diss track about Ice Cube, who ain't had nothing to do with it, yesterday, here we come with a unadulterated, unasked for, just unequivocal piece of diss track that nobody asked for. No, we ain't even had a radio on. No. Y'all not only, you came in, cut on the radio, and came in with a diss track. For those of you who didn't see the council meeting on yesterday, there was a letter read by one of the newer council members, and he came in crazy with it. Like it was amazing. So he made all of these accusations. Most of them were veiled as though they were at the mayor, but they really were veiled talking about you because the mayor supported you. So the first thing that he came into, and this is why I asked that question earlier, the first thing he said was that the candidate that we're bringing in has 7 years of experience. 7. Now,
What did
I'm
you
not I'm not 100%. I'm not a math major. But how many did you tell us you had?
26.
26. And she came and they said this man has 7 years. So
Strong.
they are saying the 7 strong years outweighed your 26 is basically what they were telling us.
And what I need you all to also remember, pay attention to what people say, because there's always an undertone that identifies what the point is. You know, when he said 7 years, but he started with, he has 30 years of military experience and he has 20 years of something else. But the thing about it is, you know, a city of this size and a city that is just this complex, on a city that's just unique, you know, I don't know. We've had so many city managers. I call them the wall of shame in the city manager's office. It's literally a wall of all city manager pictures that have been here from the very beginning to the end. And all of them came in ready to do a good job. All of them came in high hopes. But, you know, one of the things that people say about Portsmouth is a career killer. You come to Portsmouth, and if you survive Portsmouth, you can go anywhere. This is like a small
Mini New York.
Iraq. A small tour in Iraq. You're going to come out with PTSD, and then you got to go sit down and try to pull yourself together. But that's Portsmouth. That's not new. That's just Portsmouth. So I know if I'm here, I'm on assignment, because of course, we got days, I have days where I'm like, what? And then here's the thing that really bothers me. One of the council members said, why doesn't she bring in new people? We all have all these interim positions available. Let's talk about that.
Let's talk about it.
If you don't have a structured environment and a structured government, who is going to leave their career at this stage of the game? I'm 53. And so I have some people who have already retired, or some people in my age group who are just looking for their next step in their career. Why would I ask them to come and support me at a government that is not stable? And as you see currently now, by the contracted interim, turned around and fired everybody that I brought on. Who was making a difference?
So let me put a pin in it right there. The contracted interim. So the new city manager that they hired can't come in to work until April the 22nd. So they actually did hire a substitute teacher. And the substitute teacher came in and fired people?
Fired everybody. She started moving people around, fired everybody, asked for a 1-page resume. I mean, you know, that's her right. That's her authority. But why would you give a 30-day contracted interim the authority to make decisions that will affect the city long term when you won't even be there? Or was it already predetermined that she was by the powers that be, except for the citizens and everybody else isn't made aware just yet?
And so, and to be clear, 200 and how many dollars an hour? Because I always think I get it confused. $220 an hour is what is being paid to that. So I don't want to get in that lady's pockets, but to the company that she works for.
Correct.
$220 an hour for her service. Now, how much the company is paying her, I couldn't tell you off the top, but I'm sure it's close to 219. So she is in here. This is the equivalent of.
Mm-hmm.
This is what the equivalent of. Your coach gets fired game 4. You got a new coach. He can't come in till game 6. So you got the interim head coach come in. He trades away your quarterback, running back, wide receivers, a whole offensive line, and brings in a whole new team before you get here. That's just not how that should work. That doesn't even make good common sense. Who authorized that? Is that something authorized by council?
I don't know what the contract said, but I mean, common sense or anybody logical would say, if I'm only here, or it's determined that I'm only going to be here for a short period of time, unless they already decided she was never going to leave from the very beginning, then why would you authorize someone to remove? You would give the new person an opportunity to say, let me meet them. Let me see. I mean, logically, let me meet them. Let me see who this is. Unless she had a hit list. I want y'all to always remember, When I came to the city and when Angel was here, I was on a hit list. The vice mayor even mentioned it in several speeches. There's a hit list. I know you're on it, and anybody else. So I've been on a hit list for a long time, but it just seems like they cannot hit the target.
So not only does that say to me, why would you bring somebody in? It also would say, is the new person less than competent? Because he should be able to come in and look over his staff and say, no, this is somebody I need to keep. No, this is somebody I don't need to keep. Let me look at your performance over 3 months, over the last 6 months. Let me come in and put everybody on probation. And everybody.
Or you dismantle the ship so you're needed.
Or you tear the whole ship down so that you're needed. Because we even had a citizen come on yesterday, and that citizen said, I believe y'all should let the new interim stay around a few extra months to make sure the guy comes in well, which was crazy to me. Crazy.
Nobody asked me. If you look at some of the things that people are writing, I think somebody even posted that they didn't think it was it was conducive, or it made sense to keep me around, because in most positions that's what they do. They move the head and move you. But to keep the ship running, it's not like we were there together. At the end of the day, if I've come back this many times with the foolishness that I've had to endure, or that I've allowed myself to endure, what more could I have done? Right. It was, if I kept it going that long, what was a month? But nobody asked me, especially when we're facing all the things that Portsmouth is under the gun for now. And I'm sure, we'll get into that. But, people say, well, why didn't she stay? Nobody asked me. So the rush, when people are rushing you out the door to bring somebody in, you got to ask yourself why. And I'm going to always tell people, follow the money.
So let's get into some of the follow the money stuff, because you know where everything is, where all the bodies are buried. So let's talk about the new interim city manager for just a moment. And it's not even anything personal, but I really want to point out some of the discrepancies and what I thought was just some of the idiotic statements made in the speech written yesterday. One of the things that was written in the speech was, Portsmouth has a problem with bringing in friends and people that they know and putting them in positions rather than putting in people who are qualified, and said that same statement with Dr. Patton on there, a former city manager who was fired before you got in, brought him back because of relationships that she has with people in the city and that they know. How is it possible that you can tell a speech saying we got to stop bringing in people for their friendship when you brought in somebody because they were a friend of yours? That's one of the statements y'all said. We brought her in because she knows the city. She hasn't lived in the city for quite a while. She's been living in Northern Virginia. She knows the city when she was out there, but not now. So how can you not see? I just want everybody to see, how can you not see the hypocrisy in saying we need to stop bringing back friends when you clearly brought back friends?
And so let's kind of talk about that a little bit.
Let's go. It's on you.
The things that I was constantly told by several of the council is that I didn't get along with the sheriff. And of course, everybody started posting, she don't like the sheriff. But let me remind you all, and where y'all been? The sheriff and the city manager have always had some discourse. If I want to remember, Kenny Wright and the Bill.
Listen, Bill Watson said, I got a Woody when I got to pull him over. that man, I would never, ever admit to that, but that's exactly what he said. He said, I got a Woody when I pull him over. In fact, in one of the most racist times that I think I've ever seen in this city publicly, he got on the news, the white sheriff, and called the black mayor a boy. Like, when I saw that boy driving, wait a minute.
So you think about, and then let's even remember the person that you all brought back as a contracted interim, but I'm catching heck because you're saying I don't get along with the sheriff. Not only got the building condemned, where the jail was condemned with the prison inmates in it, and there's litigation with the schools that you say I don't get along with the schools, but this person,
so they brought back. Let's refresh the memory. So that you're telling me the lady that they brought back condemned and shut down the jail. If you know anything about the way the sheriff's office was, the sheriff runs the jail. That's his main base of operations. She condemned the jail with the inmates in it. And she also sued the schools.
Correct. But you say I don't get along with the sheriff. I like the sheriff. Me and sheriff we know each other from family. When I got here in 2020, the sheriff's budget was cut by $1 million. The sheriff was barely able to manage, and he was using other funds that he collected from inmates to be able to operate. So one of the first things I was able to do when LaVorce was here was I increased his budget by $1 million just to give him an opportunity to operate. And when I say $1 million, that's just health care. When you're dealing with inmates, you're feeding them every day, you have healthcare needs. $1 million, I increased his budget. So when people say, she don't like the sheriff. No. It has nothing. What are y'all talking about? The other part of that is that when the sheriff got a number from the state, he got a letter from the state, and the state cut his salary because the information they received based on the demographics of our locality, it determines your rate or your amount of money that they pay you from the state. So I said, well, Sheriff, I don't want you to take a pay cut. That wouldn't be fair. The city is going to substitute a supplement, whatever the state did not give you. There are letters. You can ask them. This is not made up stuff like the guy did at the council meeting Friday or Tuesday. These are facts. This all can be addressed and identified. There's a letter. And we had a conversation about it. When it came to the $6,500 that the sheriff wanted for the one-time bonus, we made that happen. Before, when we had COVID-19 funds, all of the sheriff and them, they were left out. I added them back in when we did frontline employees. They were left out. So I don't understand when people try to tell me, you don't like the sheriff or you all don't get along. I can call the sheriff, maybe not right now, but I can call the sheriff. We have conversations on the weekends. Anytime that something needs to be addressed, I pick up the phone, I talk to him. But he had some minions that made it very complicated because, again, we're going to follow the money. This is no hit to the sheriff. I like the sheriff. But there's some people in the sheriff's camp that I need that it is questionable. And when you start cutting off stuff that they benefit from, you become a problem.
Okay, so here's somebody saying that you didn't want the sheriff to take a pay cut, but made sure that city workers got crumbs. Can you address that?
What does that mean?
I guess they're saying that you didn't pay the city workers. So
so informed and silly. So what we did a comp study. Not only did we give the city workers 7% GWI, which is a general wage increase, I made sure the city workers got a 3 or 5% increase every year. Not only did I not make sure that they get a GWI, we did a comp study and pay plan change. And I gave every department additional funds. What we did is we looked at how many years of service that the employees had, and we went and we changed their salaries. Right before the 7% GWI, me and HR, we worked our butts off. Not only did we do that we did a class and pay study for public safety. They got more money than they ever been because, again, police officers were being auctioned off by each locality to see who could pay the most. Then we turned around and not only did the GWI, not only did the comp pay plan, we did promotions. We did everything known to man. I gave them bonuses. I gave them one-time thank you bonuses. We've done all this. Not only now, but when we had the pandemic, we were working our butts off to make sure. So whoever made that comment is an idiot. And I don't bet you that even work here no more.
You said you can say that. So that doesn't mean she said I can name a woman that's been working for the library since the 80s that still makes less than $50,000. Okay, you can't go win.
Are you one person? Let's get off. Stop doing that. Don't do that.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and ignore her from the rest of because when you talk about I know one person, the library is not really full time. That's a part-time job. If I can go work somewhere part-time and make $50,000, I'm probably the interim city manager of Portsmouth, Virginia. Okay.
And I did even better. The courts used to be left out. The courts didn't get raises. The courts didn't get bonuses. The courts got nothing. The courts, I met with the judges to understand why. The courts have people who work for the city in our class and compensation plan. They were left out every year from bonuses and increases. How does that happen? And some people who had maxed out of their salary, but they love their job, we ran circles. So they would still be able to get the GWI, but there was no additional promotion to give them unless they hired or were hired for an additional job or a different job. You know what I mean? But we didn't keep anybody from getting additional funds, because one of the things to be a competitive workforce, you have to be able to compete. We had a workforce of about 34%, which means nobody was out here doing work. We didn't have no employees. We had more temps than we had employees, which was ridiculous on money we were spending on that. People need to be hired to feed their families, to have a wage that is comparable, so that we can pull ourselves out from under these bootstraps and not be a high rate poverty city. It's just not right. It's just not fair. And if I can help anybody, that was always my ability. Maybe help too many people because some people just didn't appreciate it. But I did my best when it came to that.
Okay, so let's talk about a couple of hot issues. So he got on there and he said that there was an issue with public utilities and the water bills. Can you help me understand and help the people understand what happened? Because I'm an employee of the city. I'm a resident of the city. I own properties in the city. So can you tell me, that was a small flex. You heard me say properties. I didn't say one. It was a tiny one. It was a tiny flex. The water bills went from bi-monthly to monthly, and people are like, oh my gosh, what happened? So can you tell us what happened with the water bills and what the change was and how that helped the city?
Okay, several things. And just remember those in order because I'm gonna forget. All right, so we went from bi-monthly to monthly. We had a $23 million delinquency in water bills.
Wait a minute, give it to me one more time, because I know if mine get behind $96, they come out there to cut it off. What we had how much of a delinquency?
Between residential and commercial, we had a $23 million delinquency in water bills, which means your cash flow is toe up. You have people not paying their water. During COVID, we didn't do cutoffs. So we had a situation, and when we got COVID relief money, it was only $1 million to help people to relieve them of their water bills. But don't forget, waste management also, trash refuse is on your water bill as well. So even if you catch up your water bill and your trash bill is behind, you still have a balance. COVID-19 funds didn't help supplement or reduce those bills. It was no relief for that. So when we talk about delinquent water bills, $23 million. Now we're down to about 10, but which is huge in comparison to 23 million over a 6 month between now and 6 month period. We have changed a monthly water bill. So let me ask you a question. When people called and complained about their water bill coming monthly, I thought it was interesting because one of the things I asked somebody, I was like, let me ask you a question. Why do you hate that it's a monthly water bill? Because every bill you have is monthly. Let's go through them. Your mortgage.
That's every month.
Your car payment.
Monthly.
Your electric bill.
Oh, yeah, they definitely want that every month.
Your insurance for your car. Everything.
We need that every other month on that water, though. Give us that little break.
Bro, so what happened is I kind of took a poll. I talked to some people, some seniors too. And I said, if this was consistent with what you did every month, and you're on a regular
fixed income,
retirement and fixed income, would this help you? They said yes. Even though I know what my water bill is, I don't have to hold my money so long. I know it can automatically go. I pay less because that's what it is. Chesapeake changed it. We still have the lowest water bill in the world. Not in the world, Craig, but in both
right.
But basically what happened is Chesapeake increased their water bill. So after you got over so many consumptions, they added another 9% on your water bill.
You use it too much. You better stop taking them baths.
So Portsmouth didn't do that. Every year since 2018, there's an ordinance that went into place that says that Portsmouth is going to increase their stormwater bill and their water bill every year in order to play catch up because we have been so behind. We are now looking at implementing a new water bill system, a new water system for software development because we are behind. You should be able to go online, print out your bill, look at it, see your past balance. When a person says they don't have a water bill, and I watch that. So what I'll tell you this, that is a specific case. Two things can happen, and I'll give you two scenarios. One, a person called and said, hey, I keep getting this balance forward on my water bill. What do you mean? I only pay my current. I'm not paying that balance forward.
He ain't doing that. I ain't got time for this balance forward. Y'all eat that. So a lot of it became just. But you said we were what 18 million in the hole
We
when
were
you
23 in the hole.
23 in the hole
And now
delinquent,
we're 10.
and now we're what?
10.
So you got it down.
13 million.
In the 1 year that you were working, you got the city $13 million in just that,
Yeah,
in
follow the
just
money.
just
Figure out
water bills.
figure out what you're doing wrong. Follow the money. I gave it to council and the report back. These numbers are real. As for the report back, I'm sure Bernadette can tell you. I sent it to them. They saw it. I didn't get any. Nobody said anything, but you know, those are the change. When you change procedure, a lot of the things that we have issues in the city is procedural. People got mad because of enforcement. So you want me, people. So in other words, we have things that are already in ordinance that are already a part of the policy, but we haven't been enforcing. And so when you start enforcing it, people get angry, but they want to complain. You can't have it both ways. And I'm not writing new policy. I had a man call and say he doesn't like me because I changed the rate of a commercial trash can. No, sir. The rate has been that since 2009.
They
First
just
of all,
weren't enforcing it correctly.
and he shouldn't even have a trash can because based on code, no commercial business outside of the business district downtown should even have a commercial can. But I ain't gonna get into that because again, we got other stuff to cover. But again, if I look at that, that's money we've lost over the years. They've been getting you're a commercial business that happened to get a trash can because based on whoever was answering the phone gave it to them, was paying the same thing in refuse that you pay as a citizen. You're not making no money at your house. I mean,
Well,
you,
I do, you know, you don't really know what goes on back there in the back. You know, huh? Getting his money,
but
make
you're
them clap
not identified in our system or our
as a
account.
business.
Yeah, so you are identified as a commercial business.
All right, so we're gonna get in. So we got on that. So another thing that they brought up, and I'm glad Mr. Berry asked that. He said, "Well, he said we had a problem with the gift cards. The gift cards, we don't know where the gift cards were. Can we?" That was in the that was in one of the things that the council person said the gift cards were a problem. Can
We
you
didn't
clear up
have
with
a
the gift
problem.
cards?
Correct. We didn't have a problem with the gift cards. The cards were all accounted for. If you recall, when I came back to council on that night and let them know where every dime, nickel, and penny was. Let me ask y'all a question. What was the problem when somebody says 80,000 gift card? No, $80,000. Do you know that's $801 gift, $100 gift card? What you gonna do with that? That is the dumbest. I don't want to repeat
You're a
that.
citizen now, so you can say it.
Okay.
So it was
Who
eight
at
thousand one.
99, where you gonna go with 800 gift cards for $100? Who is that stupid? But anyway, and who would put their career, 20 some years of career on the line? That's the dumbest, foolish mess I've ever heard in my life. Now you see how I really feel about it. Because I could not believe when we have programs at the city.
They said that now somebody's saying because we got to make sure that's one of the things that the council person said yesterday. There was a lot of misinformation out there. So somebody said there was also $500 gift cards. So they 1 and 5 or just
Yeah,
100.
but what they were saying was missing was $100 ones. So
Okay.
so let's talk about why we did the gift cards to start with. So council wanted to do programs for people who were, I guess, several programs in the city. They call the Alice category. So we did
Okay.
a whole program for the Alice group, and nobody hardly qualified. The reason we got these cards because part of the COVID-19 thing was ARPA was um, giving people giving back, helping them with some of this relief, helping them with buying stuff that they need. If you get a shot, you're giving back to the community. So we decided, okay, we can do that for seniors and we can use them for some other programs in the city. So we had 12,000 seniors who had actually received their COVID shots. And we had another for the groups that they identified as Alice category. They said it would be over, gosh, you taking me way back. This crazy amount, okay? It wasn't. When they applied and when they went through the requirements, nobody not enough people qualified for that fund. Because you think about it, if you're dealing with people in the ALICE category, they're getting benefits from the city already, social services. So which means every dime that they get, they have to identify as income, which would
Mm-hmm.
knock them off of the current benefits that they have. So therefore, why am I going to risk these couple of dollars when I got medical insurance through social services, when I got food stamps through social services, I got kids, so they giving me a stipend for housing. Listen, I ain't fooling with y'all because this is going to end, and I don't want to have to re-qualify for any of these benefits, which mean those people didn't come out. And so now you're stuck with a bunch of gift cards. So let's talk about those gift cards. Nothing was missing. They've been audited. Every year, the city goes through an audit, an external audit. That audit goes to state and federal agencies. If you do anything wrong, if you don't do the right thing, or if they have a question about a category, they will call you, they audit you. They are very, very particular because, again, Portsmouth not the only one who got money. I think we got one of the lowest where all the other localities got a lot, but we don't trying to turn nothing back. We have so many people in Portsmouth with needs. We said, okay, we'll make the best of it and we'll just look at programs that have already been approved, but let's just see what we can do. I hated getting them gift cards, but the thing about it is I was told we better not run out of resources. We better not run out of supplies. I got my numbers from the health department, so trust and believe, and I had a whole presentation and showed it. I didn't come up with that number out of the air. Everything that I do has facts and supporting documentation. I'm an accountant. What do you expect? So then we had to come up with programs. So again, I'm going to always try to take care of my seniors because the seniors are on a fixed income. Their medicine is more than their regular check that they get from social services. I mean, not social services, Medicare or Social Security.
Mm-hmm.
Why wouldn't I? Seniors are amazing. They got so much to offer. So if you trying to figure out if you're going to eat or buy $300 medication, let me help you with that. Everybody is not exempt from taxes, and they still taxes till you die. So if there's anything I can help, so we put a program together for the seniors. And so some people still complain about that. And so you're never going to be 100%, but the ones who were so appreciative, it was worth it. The other thing about distribution of gift cards, let's talk about this. Council is pissed off, just a couple, because not everybody, that I did gift cards for teachers, educators.
Wait a minute. This can't be because every year I hear on a political trail or a campaign trail that they're saying we need to do more for our teachers. Our teachers are one of our most valuable resources. So now they can't be upset that you were giving them the teachers. Oh, tell me what was said.
Absolutely. But not only did I ask the schools, hey, I want to do this program, submitted emails, went back and forth, FOIA them. And I had the same council members who wanted to ring me over the coals about it. They never said don't do it. Let me just talk to you real quick.
Talk to me.
Teachers
I'm sitting back.
A lot of stuff in the schools. Kids running in and out of schools, kids fighting teachers, kids come to school with guns. What do you want them to do? They're on a very low income. One of the things that I programmed in the budget is that when the schools set their needs assessment, they said that they were going to be able to give the teachers a 7% increase. So absolutely, that $10 million, if I had to roll it off the back of somebody else, I was going to make sure the schools had that money, but we'll go back to that. So what I did over the summer is we said, okay, let's do educators and staff gift card. They needed money to go back to schools. What made me want to do it is I watched this program on the news where the teachers in one of the localities were having a GoFundMe fundraiser so that they could buy supplies for school. Because again, every kid can't supply the list that the teachers need them to bring. Every child don't have anything. We have educators that are scrambling. They have families and they're trying to figure out how to pay their rent because maybe they didn't do the 12-month, salary over the summer. Maybe they just did the 10. Right. Anything, any benefit, anything we could do to help keep them in school and not have them walk off. Just because you sign a contract doesn't mean I can treat you anyway and not give you anything because now I got you. Who does that? So I said, well, let's do something. So I thought for Dr. Bracy, he would embrace it because I said, okay, this makes us look really good working together to be able to bring some respect to each other. Let's do what we got to do. Let's make this happen. Some council members came with him and said I was overstepping. I even had a council member come to me and said that, hey, you shouldn't have done this. You shouldn't have given them gift cards. And I said, well, why not? I'm just curious to figure out why. He said, well, I know somebody personally that works for the school who makes $60,000 and he don't need it. He's single. So you're going to base a whole entire school system on one person. Well, I learned a long time ago, don't count my coins. You don't know what obligations and responsibilities I have. So unless you're trying to add to the pot, get out of my pocket.
Right? Listen here, I'm a multi-hundredaire. I tell people don't try to count what I got. So this council person came to you and said the teachers don't deserve these things. He don't deserve it because he makes $60,000 and he's single. He should have plenty of money. But when you gave out the gift cards, were they there?
Yeah, and one of them came to the school, took pictures with the people, shook their hand, told them how great it was at the city and the schools. We support you. We 100%. We love you, and we always going to support the schools. And I'm not talking about DeAndre Barnes because he supported this 110%. So it ain't him. But you can pick and choose. Go back to Facebook posts and see who took pictures with the schools because only 2 of them did.
so this council member also seemed to have I want to talk about something, and we're gonna get to a lot of these questions, and it's gonna end up being more than an hour, but they'll be all right. They'll still be here. Yes. Listen, they did the Cat Williams interview was 4 hours. We'll be all right. We ain't gonna do that 4 hours though. I got things to do. So let's talk about some of the things that you endured personally while sitting in that interim seat. Tell me about you told me a story and it really upset me because I saw the person in a different light. But you told me a story about not feeling protected by the council. Can you explain what you meant by that?
So when you look at the turnover in the city manager's position, the worst thing that I saw is how Angel Jones was mistreated. Angel Jones was mistreated. Angel Jones was mishandled. Angel Jones is a sweetheart, good person through and through. And she had a love for this city as if she was from here. And so when you connect to people who you really care about and you see where their heart is, you're all of a sudden labeled the bad guy. So I've got a lot of pushback. Y'all see it. Y'all watch the meetings at 5 o'clock. Some of you do, some of you don't. And I get ridiculed for things that I believe that if it were someone else in that position or a male, nobody would question it. I get asked or pushed or like I told the council, one of the council members decided that he wanted to have a closed session meeting on my performance back in November. It was a closed special meeting. He called 4 council members and they wanted to sit back and talk about my performance. I wasn't there, of course. Why? So it wasn't a formal, but it was his decision because I guess he was upset that he didn't get his way about something because that's just what he does. And so he started to say, he was in his meeting. He came out. I guess they didn't agree to it. So I went and held a closed session meeting myself about my performance as I could identify and address all the things I did for the city. Just in case nobody knew what I actually did for the city. It was my opportunity because, again, I don't shine like that. What I do is if I do something, I stick and move. We got too many things to do for y'all to give me accolades, pats on the back. I'm here to make it better. And so some of the things that I did, they had no idea, and they didn't even know some of the challenges I was facing as it related to other appointees, as it related to just other members of the council. One of the members of council, I had to tell council, I can't meet with him. He explodes. He's unpredictable. His behavior is childish. And so I'm not comfortable meeting with that council member unless I have a designated person in the room. And so they did absolutely nothing.
So you're telling me, because this is what's interesting to me. I think this is the second Women's History Month is a bad month to be the city manager in Portsmouth if you're a woman, because you guarantee to get fired. You are guaranteed, if it's Women's History Month, you're guaranteed to get fired. Which is amazing to me because when we had a black woman who was the city manager and she was fired, that led them to start cussing and talking how mad they were that a black woman was treated that way. But let me ask you this: you're telling me that you informed the council
Mhm.
that you were uncomfortable meeting with
Mhm.
a particular male council member for your own safety,
Mhm.
and they did nothing?
Nothing. Nothing. And it goes back to when I met with them on my performance. I said, let me tell y'all something. The best, my father was a football coach for IC Norcom. I'm raised by a man, a real man, a man's man, a man. And so I don't back down either.
Okay, all right. You can break out in
And,
salt and pepper. What
and,
a
and, a,
man! What a man! Okay.
and a very sweet mother, Christian. I think her and Jesus they talk. And I think he kissed her sometime at night. But I'm telling you, I don't back down easy. But I even told council, this is where I am. You all, we playing football because maybe you all understand this better. And I said, you all, if I am one of your most valuable players on the team, because it's 3 appointees, it's me, the assessor, and the city attorney. Y'all, I'm Mike Vick getting beat down after his dog felony. What in the world? Y'all leaving me wide open.
Right.
Not
Ain't
only
nobody blocking for me.
nobody
You got no offensive
in your
line.
position. At the end of the day, y'all coming for me in public, trying to embarrass me, and you can't, but that's what you try. You got citizens coming at me talking about they don't like a trash schedule. I get aggressive emails, people cussing about something they have no idea what they're talking about. I had a person call and say she was upset about the trash not being picked up. So I called her and I got somebody call and said, well, what's wrong? What's your address? She said, well, I didn't think you were going to call me back. I call back people personally because I want to know as a citizen, what's your gripe? What's wrong? Who I need to go get? And my citizens know that, the ones who have had to deal with me. And I don't talk to every civic league organization leader from Cavalier Manor, but I do talk to civic league organization leaders because I've never seen such a foolishness where somebody is walking around crying every time he get a free ear that she won't meet with me. You don't have nothing to talk about. But let me go back to where I was going. So anyway, so the citizens, I asked her, I said, what is your problem? Give me your address and I'll go pick it up. So this lady says, oh, I don't have no problem. I can't believe you called me back. I said, what do you mean? She said, well, I saw some posts on the thing, so I don't even live in the city. I just wanted to post so I could get some likes.
You know what? I hate it here. I'm gonna tell you what. I don't know what the real estate tax is on Mars, but that's where I'm finna move to. I'm moving straight to Mars.
I cannot make it up. I literally can't make it up. You have no idea, but I love my citizens because although it's 1 or 2 that's special, they got ones who they call and they're just so thankful for somebody listening, somebody showing. They are shocked when I show up. I had one guy say, I called the city manager's office. I said, you did? Who you talk to? I've been calling for 2 years. Who you talk to? I talked to the city manager. I'm talking to him. He don't know who I am. You ain't talking to me.
That is funny. I've personally had people be like, I call the city manager. I'm good friends with the city manager. I talk to her, and I'll hit you up. You be like, I ain't talking to that person. I'm like, oh, they said they knew you. All right, so let's get to some stuff because I want to wrap it up, and it might get a little messy.
Okay.
It might get a little messy. There's particular people who you believe have a personal gripe against you because of money being taken out of their pocket, and it's not necessarily something that you're guessing, but you actually have receipts and you can show where that. Help me understand what you were telling me about that.
Okay. What I want people to understand is I'm above board. I don't steal. I ain't broke. Life is good. What I need you all to remember, if when somebody comes after me, you need to ask yourself as a citizen, why are they coming after her so hard?
Okay, so let's go one on one. Let's start at the top before we get to that big one because that's a big fish. Let's go to one that you brought up earlier. Cavalier Manor's Ray Smith doesn't like you. Can you tell me why Ray Smith doesn't like you?
I know know exactly why Ray Smith don't like me. And here we go, because I'm going to be Cat Williams for 5 minutes.
Be him.
There was a car. Let me tell you how the foolishness. This is what I mean when we're at a city that so much nonsense has been allowed to happen. And I'm a devil to the details and I follow the money. We had a situation where somebody called and said, hey, I'm going to bring this car to Operations Center and I need you to fix the windows. I need a maintenance done on it and change the oil. So the guy called and said, well, you know, Miss Terry, I don't know whose car this is because we don't have this car in the system. License, the registration or something. So but the VIN. So we find out that the car belongs to a senior lady who used to be like the neighborhood watch. It's her car in her name. But the car had City of Portsmouth license plates on it. What? City of Portsmouth license plates, you know, the logo, the official plates. So we look in the system and this car, but not belongs to the city, but it has City of Portsmouth license plate for official plates. We've been given this car. They got a key fob, which I killed all that too.
Explain what the key fob. What does the key fob do?
Key fob is back in operations when you could come to operations and get gas for the city vehicles. It's just a gas pump. You get a key fob and you can fill up all you want to with gas with a city vehicle for the city. I stopped that. I took that. We have Papco or one of those places right across the street that you can get gas. Why aren't we filling our tanks up over there? Because what we found is we didn't have a contract for gas. Gas prices at COVID was more than my mortgage payment.
Listen, it was higher than giraffe vaginas, but go ahead.
It was. And so here we go. Not only do we not have a contract for gas, which we were paying out the roof because we didn't have it. The lady who used to oversee the gas over there, she didn't fill the tank up. Well, she didn't get them to bring no gas. So then we ran out of gas one day. And we have 5 trucks. We got everything. So I said, we putting an end to this. We went across the street, got a contract, a state contract, which means other localities use this same thing. So we can do a cooperative agreement with the same terms and conditions for people who've already been vetted out through the state. We piggybacked on that contract, on that cooperative agreement. All our vehicles go across the street to get gas. We used to get DEQ violations for our tank. That's gone, no more. And so not only did we do it, but we encouraged the schools to get on that plan as well. So the schools they can go to any place with that logo and fill up their gas. So if we ever have a situation in the city where all the gas or we have an issue, they can go anywhere, activate those cars, and are able to get gas anywhere. So those are the things that we had to fix in the city. But I was also told that'll never work. We probably were the only city in Hampton Roads or in the world, Craig, that didn't. How are we functioning? And that way, that also reduces fraud and abuse because it's well lit. It's a camera there. You can go, and your car is assigned to you, your PIN. So therefore, I know who's filling up their gas on a Sunday night with a city car. And if you fill it up every 5 minutes, you just got a line of people where you're giving gas to. Cut it out. So there's some things that have been put in place for security measures that help the city out tremendously.
So Ray Smith was filling up a personal car with city tags.
Yeah.
So did you take it back or something?
So I had to go get the police. They go get the tags, and they went to his house and they got the tags, and he was upset that I sent police officers to go get it. It ain't my car, but they're my plates, and we're not doing the registration.
So where was the lady at?
She dead.
Shut your mouth. So I hate it here. So you telling me that man had the car registered in a dead lady's name with city plates on to get free gas?
Correct.
I hate it here.
Not paying insurance.
I hate it here. I hate it here.
So when you see people come after me, always know there's a backstory, and not all can be for you because at the 6-month city manager, somebody told her that I stole the car. I ain't steal the car. I ain't had a car, but I went back and got my plates. Car ain't registered to the city. car was registered to a woman who no longer is alive.
Lord,
So
Well, when
somebody come history.
when I die, take all my stuff out of my name. That's
When
crazy.
somebody
So
comes for me, it's usually because I done cut their money off or something that they were doing that is no longer allowable, not having it. One reason that they're going crazy in waste management. Okay, I'll let you go, but I will get back to that one. But I got a lot of stories. But
oh,
if you want to talk about, we can do the big fish after, because there's a program that was cut off by the 6 month city manager. But we can talk about that when you're ready.
let's talk about the program because uh the letter came out of left field. The vitriol for you came out of left field, but you said no, that's not what it is. What's this program that was cut off by the you keep calling her the 6 month city manager, but by the 6 month city manager?
Y'all remember when Angel Jones was here? The four, y'all call them the four horsemen, but there were some people that made her put some additional funding in the budget um, for after school programs. So one of the programs was at the sheriff's department. We set some money aside so he can do reentry programs and some other programs for the sheriff's department. No shade to the sheriff. It's just he didn't ask for it. They pretty much forced him to do it. So we have several people who have come for me because the 6 month city manager cut the program. She says, listen, I'm not going to keep doing this program. Who's enrolled? Who's listed? We can't keep doing this program. That's a waste of city funds. But again, the previous council made her Angel do it. Go back to the council meetings, y'all. It's all there when it was budget season. So they had some programs. And again, when we talk about friends and family and people, relationships, some of those people that come from me that wear the Egyptian braid, they were getting money from those programs up to about $7,500 a month. There it
So
is,
I
right there.
so we're
Page
gonna
3.
go.
Let's go.
You were not lying. You said let's go and pull people were getting money from the program. So what this is a disbursement report from
That
the
you can
city.
find on the website, because remember, we list all disbursements from the city on our website. We started that when I got back because a council member asked us to do it.
So this is the one we'll go to. Check 619-510 to a Miss Gunter youth programs. Now Miss Gunter, there's nobody on council by the name of Gunter, but you're saying Miss Gunter is in relation to one of the city council members?
Go find out y'all city council members' names. That's why we need a forensic audit of council members. They trying to talk about gift cards. Look at the whole list. Start from the top to the bottom if you want to. Anything that says a youth program. These people were getting money every month. The only thing it starts in January, but go back to August. Ask for it. Ask for it. August, September, October. Ask for it. How many every time you see youth programs? That was at the sheriff's office.
That's
Other than
$4,500
go at the top. There's one
per
for
month.
7,500. Number 3.
But 7,000. See, you gonna have me in mess all the time. So the number 3 is Barry R. Randall, $7,500, and this is monthly.
That was monthly. And so when I came, they asked me to reinstate the program. And I said no. I said, well, let me look at it because I didn't know what they were talking about. When I saw this, I was like, no, I can't reinstate that. That's a waste of taxpayers' money. And there's several other names at the bottom. Some people were getting up to $9,000. So when people say they don't like me, they want to get rid of me, all they trying to do is get rid of me so they can get the new person to come in and reinstate these programs.
Sheesh.
He wouldn't know. You're going to tell it all.
So there was also a question about giving money to 2 programs that I think were great programs. They said that you wouldn't give money to the Outer Barber Center and the Wesley Center. Can you help me understand why you didn't give to the Wesley Center?
Absolutely. So the Wesleyan Center came, and when I got back, it was in January of 2023. I went to the ribbon cutting ceremony at the casino. And so a young lady approached me and said, hey, we need some money. I had helped with this, with the Wesley Center before because they wanted to put on an event. I forget the lady name, but they put on an event. And so I said, well, the casino had given them a big check, over $100 and some thousand. And in our community development block grant, we give them anywhere between $300 and $400, $500,000 for the upgrade of their center. So when this year, when I had to sit down and look at the community development block grant, when you hear people say CDBG, that's what that is. And so we have to go through and say, where are we going to put this money? And I said, well, I'm not going to put any money into any outside centers that are doing private work when we have facilities that got bullet holes in them and falling apart. If they qualify and we have those funds, then we're going to invest in ourselves. We're no longer going to be putting money into outside facilities when our stuff is falling apart. So, they started on this quest to talk to everybody, including your vice mayor, who said that in the council meeting, these people were going to get another opportunity because I'm gone. Okay, let me tell you what that opportunity looks like. The casino is not even refunding them or giving them any funds this year. I wasn't giving them any funds this year for all of the reasons that I stated. Plus, I was able to do a little deeper dive, and they don't have kids. The whole point is to have the pre-K kids or some Head Start program. That program not even there. And then when I went and pulled the tax records to see who's on the board, because you're going too hard for me and trying too hard, and even questioning, getting the vice mayor to go on thing and say nobody's giving the Wesley Center any money. Me. Let me run down the names on this tax return, because the tax return is a nonprofit. So let's go down the names, please. May I? If you just
go, I'll indulge you.
And if anybody seems familiar, go with that. So we're going to start with the secretary. Melissa White. Natonda Hill is the treasurer. This was in 22. Donna Jordan is the director. Marta Piziak, I'm sorry if I messed your name up, is the director. Dr. Kristen Ramsey, I don't know what she is, but she's listed. Then the vice president is Nancy Yarborough, and the president of this nonprofit organization, drum roll please, is Colonel Marvin Waters. Colonel Marvin Waters, who works for the sheriff department, is the president of a nonprofit organization that gets money from the city that we say they don't have no kids. The program ain't even going on right now. Well, I'm gonna give y'all some money. And when I look through this, I see a bunch of travel. Stop playing with me. You want to know why people going after me? Because I'm cutting off all that extra side hustle. There it is. So when people go talk crazy and want to go to the newspaper about all this stuff that I ain't doing and I'm mean, nah, I'm just cutting off your side hustle because the taxpayers deserve better.
So, and you talked to me about this. So that was the complete list of people that are on the board.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But was the lady that was asking you for the money, was she on the board?
No. Go back and look at all the
crackers.
Listen, the one that's hustling and hounding me for the money ain't even on the board. She done met with every council member. She ain't on the board. What am I gonna do with that? I can't help you. It didn't question. Nobody questioned why the casino wasn't gonna give them any additional funding. But you down my back asking me. That's why. But no. Nobody asked me, actually. Because if they would have asked me, I would have told them before they made speeches to the community as if I held up something from them. Now, let's talk about Atababa. Atababa is a private daycare. Atababa doesn't do any...
It's also an amazing neighborhood. Shout out to everybody that was from Atababa.
I brought the program to the awareness of the community with hopes that other people would now take their kids there, and then that would give them some extra funds. I got them hooked up with other organizations within our city that could help them maybe get some funding from the state, and then I put $50,000 into our computer in the CDBG grant to help them. I can't give money to every single daycare.
Because I was going to start one.
The point was to make her aware and then to help her do some fundraising activities. They don't do any. She told me her budget is about $300,000 plus. That's what they get. That's not even what most daycares get, but I understand the price of teachers is expensive. And so we were trying to help her, but she got upset with me because she said she needed some money right now. She couldn't wait to the 2025 budget. I put it in there anyway because, that's just emotion talking when you need something. But I did what I could do. And I never promised her anything, but I wanted to bring awareness so people could now start going to her daycare, maybe sending their children there. Maybe they didn't know it existed.
I just okay, all right. So we speaking of fundraisers. Another thing they said they were mad at you about was that you gave swallowed up. Have you ever been swallowed up? Is that you gave $30,000 to Theosia's Dexter Jakes?
Correct. So people are so enraged over that $30,000. Bless y'all heart, because it went to TD Jakes, and they did a whole FOIA, did a whole news report on it. So I mean, if we got that far, let's talk about it. One of the council members came to me with a young lady and said, "Hey, we got some things that we want to do in this city. Good vibes."
It can't be one of the council members because the council member is complaining about. Continue.
Yeah, one of the council members, who's a friend of the person, came to me and said, "Hey, we had a whole meeting. I didn't know this young lady. She's a sweetheart. I'll give her that. I give her a fit, but it was what it was. I met her. I think she's really smart. She had some great ideas for the city, but she had no voice. She does what she does. She can do what she can do. But and I don't care what nobody say about her, because at the end of the day, that girl delivers." So she came to me with this idea, several ideas. And one of the things that she wanted to do when something else fell through is she wanted to kind of honor some of the trailblazers in the city, which of course I'm going to take every opportunity to do that because we don't do that enough. And so she came to me with this idea, and it was really to highlight Dodo. I hate calling him that, but I think
Dorian Finney-Smith.
Dorian Finney-Smith is from Portsmouth. He's an NBA All-Star.
Well, he hasn't made the All-Stars yet. He's on his way
because he's from Portsmouth.
He's an amazing player. The only thing he's ever done wrong in his life, he went to the wrong high school.
He went to the right high school, actually. So I talked to him and I said, I always see programs in the city that your foundation or your mom actually does in the city. So we've never.
His mom is also a Portsmouth legend. She's amazing. But go ahead.
I met her too for the first time.
Shouts out to Desiree. Also, my boy Ben, Montage, all of the whole crew.
The whole family is amazing. I had an opportunity to meet them. I would be remiss if I don't say that out loud, because you're talking about a woman who raised some kids, some boys in a Portsmouth community.
Got a daughter too, but the boys,
everybody's tall. Remember that, everybody's tall. And they made it. I want to honor, because listen, if he made it, other kids in the community can see him make it. They can make it. He is now representing Portsmouth in a way that Portsmouth has never been represented before. And I want them to see him. He does programs. He never asks the city for money. All he does is go and have these programs out of pocket in different locations.
Wait a minute. So he's never asked for money from the city to do so I've seen Doe do kickball tournaments and all kinds of stuff, and he foot the bill for that.
Put the whole bill.
And I remember at one point it got so frustrating that they actually took his weekend to Norfolk. They took his event over to Norfolk because he couldn't get the support in Portsmouth. But continue.
How you don't take care of your own, I will never understand. So when they brought this to me, I was like, of course, I want to do something for this young man. What can we do? And so she had this idea. And so to be honored, and we're going to give him a key to the city. He don't ask for nothing, but he's always here doing something. And the marketing and the press that we got for that event, Portsmouth couldn't even afford it. Because right now you can go on their website. Is it the Nets?
But the Brooklyn, he now plays for the Brooklyn Nets. Yes.
Yeah. And they have this whole thing he did with a whole Portsmouth community, from Portsmouth to Brooklyn or something like that.
It was called, the special was called From Portsmouth to Brooklyn.
On their website. Listen, if don't nobody
and on Netflix. No, on Amazon, I believe. Yep.
Amazon. I can't pay for that. $30,000 don't pay for that. And $30,000 ain't even enough for TD Jakes. So what he did was they said, can you pay half? I don't know if people were upset because it was TD Jakes because he's a mega pastor who has all this other stuff, or they just ain't had nothing else to do. That
Can we put a
program.
pin in it right? Can we put a pin in it right there, Mimi? We got $60,000 for TD. TDJ's charging $60,000. Just letting y'all know, my price just went up again. I'm on BT Plus. Go ahead.
We paid 30 and he paid 30.
Swallowed.
And so it was a fundraiser. Now, again, I went all into that. I was asked, could we partner and help sponsor it? So again, where all the other funding went, that was supposed to go to his new foundation. But again, the whole point was to help him with something that we were doing on his behalf in the city. So he came. It was a great event. We honored the senator, who is now the first Black senator to hold a seat in finance.
Pro temp, correct.
Yeah, it was. I had a good time. It was an amazing event, and the same council member who wanted to drag me over the coals of this event was there helping people find their seats. So the backlash I got is everybody say, well, as I found out later, why did you do this? Something about her mama. And I was like, I don't even know what you're talking about. And so then a council event came and they said, well, her mama got some sponsorship money. And listen, they asked me to do something that would benefit the city in a marketing level that we had not touched. We have given money to other organizations in the past, and we have also gives PIT a check for sponsorship every year, 25,000 or more. And
Hold on. Let's stop right there. We pay the PIT to come here.
Yeah. And let me tell you, one year they went to Norfolk because our floors was messed up. We had to pay for new floors in church. We paid $40,000 for the floors. We paid for brand new bleachers that somebody is complaining about don't have a number on them. And, and we give them a $25,000 check. We pay for their transportation, the food. We pay for our staff and everything else associated. They do some things. They come and they pay for their own hotel stay. But the city contributes as a sponsor to Portsmouth Invitational Tournament. And now we're going to market that completely different this year because we want to be able to get sponsors outside of Portsmouth. And so that's why we're going to have the whole Squires event. But this year, I learned from my mistakes. We're going to have a dinner. Well, it's not a dinner, but it's like a meet and greet where the tickets are $50 and the tickets will pay for the food. So it's going to pay for itself. And so that's an event and hopefully pay for the sponsorship so we won't have to be out of pockets. We're trying to do things that generate revenue, and I want it to be at another level. I was able to meet Tim Reed, who has wonderful move from WKRP in Cincinnati to
WKRP in Cincinnati.
Okay, so wonderful man. Him and his wife. They came down. We did a whole press release.
Aunt Viv. Shout outs to Aunt Viv, light skinned Aunt Viv.
Little, she's amazing. So we want it, and he's going to promote it on his do you know Tim Reed has his own network?
Tim Reed has a lot. He was on Sister as well. Tim Reed. So we went from so let me just make sure I'm correct in what I'm saying. So you gave $30,000 to support the Dorian Finney-Smith event, which actually brought a lot of positive press to the city, got a lot of attention in the city. It got us on the radar for a lot of people, including Jakes. Dorian has also brought in, when he was playing with the Mavericks, he also brought in Mark Cuban, all of those things. Now, the PIT, we're just giving them money every year. We're paying them to have a PIT here. We had to get new floors, which was mutually beneficial. But this is something that they're doing now. Is that in your purview to be able to give that amount of money? Are you able to say, oh, I can give $30,000? Is that something you needed to go to council for, or is that something that you're allowed to do by city code?
By city code, it is. I have the authority up to a maximum of $100,000 that I can use to promote with my discretion, and I am authorized to use to do things for the city. So
you was well under the $100,000 threshold. So you ain't even come close to that. Let me ask you a question. So, because it's funny to me how that became such a strong point. Seawall Festival, parades, things like that. Those are all things that you pay for. Those come out. Let people know those things aren't free either, correct?
Yeah. City pays for all that. All the events the city sponsors, whether it's an event for Juneteenth. We help sponsor that. We have events all year long. The Pride Festival, we don't give them money, but we do all the in kind, the tents, the this, the that, the that, the that. We do everything. And so what I want to do is now,
Well, you can't no more because you don't work there no more.
I don't work there no more. We wanted to actually get outside sponsors. I have been working on that as well. So get other people to donate and partner with the city on some of these things and spread it out. Allow people. We were just getting into the routine of asking other people for money. I got ringed over the coals for the Virginia Symphony. Virginia Symphony came to Norfolk. Norfolk. What is that? Norfolk.
The school that I don't like. I don't say that school's name.
These ladies came out with their fur coats. We listened to music. We had choirs. We had the Virginia. You got hydraulics on your chest? What are you
No,
doing?
I'm putting my chest out so everybody could see that I had on my. You said that other school's name. I just wanted to make sure everybody knew it's Wilson.
Wilson, the old Wilson, like in front of the hospital, old Wilson?
Versus everybody.
The first Wilson, the real Wilson.
Both of them. I went to both of them.
How? Okay, that's a sad
question. We'll talk about that another day. I went to both of them. Wilson followed me everywhere I went.
Willett Hall Wilson. You went to Willett Hall Wilson.
Okay. I went to Willett Hall Wilson and I went to Elmhurst Lane. But continue.
Okay. So we had that event. Virginia Symphony came. They had not been in Portsmouth. We had a 17-year-old young lady who played the violin. And I don't think anybody really realized it. She played the violin with no music, she didn't have any music in front of her when she played her part. Against a whole orchestra. We highlighted Double Dr. Washington. So I call it Double Dr. Washington. Dr. Washington got 2 PhDs. You know that, right?
Yeah, she got 2. Double Dr.
Double Dr. So this lady we're doing things that we've never done before. So again, I was stretching the city into territory that made a lot of people uncomfortable, but necessary. So how you going to kill me for doing it right? We need to bring some things to this city that the city has never seen before. We need to bring some class. We need to bring some structure. And because they've never seen it before, I must be wrong in doing it.
That's not how that works. All right, so let's get these people out of here, man. We got 315 eyes. I feel like Tupac. 315 people watching right now, and I'm probably. So I just like to thank everybody who's ever going to see me perform in Portsmouth, because I'll never be able to perform in Portsmouth again. The council is going to make sure that I never they will never have me. I had planned on shooting my special in Portsmouth. So Norfolk, here I come.
But can I just say something
about we're going to talk about the budget. Oh my God, you going to say something about the transgenders? What are you going to say?
No.
Oh, the trash. Yeah, talk about the trash real quick, because the trash is a big issue. I never realized trash was such a huge issue. And like, people are going crazy about this trash in the city of Portsmouth. You got new trash trucks and all this stuff. So talk about trash and what's going on with that.
So we did one big major change to trash, and we changed the day for Churchland. So trash changed in Churchland. Hey, Ms. Jones. Trash changed in Churchland one day. So instead of being picked up on Wednesdays, they being picked up on Monday. And let me tell you why. We had it, and I realized why people were struggling with that. Now, no other time change for any other zip code in the city, just Churchland. People had a problem with that because that's the first time we've ever made a change in 30 years. So a lot of people were programmed. Like, I'm used to taking out the trash on Wednesdays. Well, you just got to. I'm used to taking out the trash on Monday. Now you got to take it out on Wednesday. That was
my day. So here's the thing. A lot of what you didn't realize, you messed up a lot of happy homes in Churchland, because a lot of men knew that if they took their trash out on Wednesday, they could get some on Thursday. And now you done moved all of that. But go ahead. Trash is a big issue.
Here's the other part of that trash. Anytime we change the holiday schedule, nobody paid attention to the holiday schedule. They wait to see when their neighbor was putting out their trash.
That's what I do. I hope somebody in my neighborhood is responsible enough to know what day the trash is supposed to go out. I'll just put it out there on Christmas and hope for the best.
So that was we gave people 6 months in advance notice. We did
That's
everything but knock on your door and send a smoke signal, and it was
what
still
you should
not
have done. That's what you should have done, or just take it out for me. So when you change the trash schedule, people were upset. But was that not did now? You told me something that I didn't understand, that I didn't know. Changing the trash schedule actually helps save the city money. Help me understand that.
So the city was spending. So if the city was spending a minimum of $12,000 every holiday, the city's holidays fall on Mondays. Out of 12, let's say we have 12 holidays, 8 holidays fell on Monday. I even did a presentation to council about this, so it would be no shock surprise and why I was doing it. So the city was spending $12,000 a holiday because again, you got to do overtime, other days you pick up. I mean, it was just a mess. So we changed that. People were upset. So again, we're saying if the process makes sense. So now if a truck breaks down, basically on a Friday, you have an opportunity to take the truck to the operations center, vehicle services, get the truck worked on. When you get the truck worked on, it'll be ready for you on Tuesday. It was no huge, and the only thing I could think of is that it happened all around a holiday. And maybe if it wasn't around a holiday time, people could have been acclimated to it a little better. But that's the only thing that I could see. We also did a bulk trash. So people were all been out of shape about bulk trash, which makes no sense. Bulk trash is unlimited pickups from if you call or not, I wouldn't even call. Go online and submit a request because you can go right online, submit a request, and they'll pick up everything that you've got in front of your house. We used to be riding around the neighborhoods looking for trash. I would get calls all the time where people say, hey, the truck drove straight past my house with me standing outside and they didn't pick up my leaves or whatever. So we said, now bulk trash pickups, if go online, we're just guaranteeing your pickup. I have never seen so many people upset about a guaranteed pickup, which
And we
means
got unlimited pickups, right? Because other cities you can only get bulk like twice a year. I know Virginia Beach, you got to go take it down to the dump yourself.
mm-hmm,
That's
mm-hmm.
crazy.
And we
But
also have something worked out where if you have something, you could take it to this other place down the street. But here nor there, bulk trash, guaranteed pickup. It's not the end of the world. It's just a guaranteed pickup, and it just is for accountability. Why was that hard? Why was that impossible?
Yeah, so that was in the letter that they had a problem with trash pickup. That was in the letter that you wouldn't take meetings with somebody. And then let's get to something that really upset me. This upset me. I don't like people playing with my intelligence. I tell jokes. I'm not one. I try to be one of the more intelligent people. I don't want to be the smartest person in the room, but I do want to be one of the top 3. And we had a budget presentation on Monday as well. They presented the budget. It was a beautifully put together video.
You're welcome.
Wonderfully put together.
You're welcome.
Wait, why are you saying you're welcome, Mimi?
We did
you
that
can't
video before. My part was just X'd out, and the temporary contracted interim just did my part with her face.
So what you're telling me is basically they chat GPT, they plagiarize your video. You had already done the budget, and what I didn't appreciate was council making it seem like she put this together.
It takes more than a week to get all that together. It's a huge
week.
It's a huge heavy lift. And the other part of that is not only with the budget. There were some things if you go to
lettuce
council meetings. Let's see, just plain lettuce by itself.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to any
try not to eat chips.
Oh, that's smart. Kale chips are good too. If you go to any of the council meetings that were in June, the public work sessions, you saw everything that I proposed in the budget. So when the person who made the statement said a meager 5 cents, that was the most ridiculous thing.
Because when you had your presentation, if we actually go back and look at the presentation, you said that you wanted to give everybody a 8 cent tax relief. 8 cent, and it was 8 cent per $100 of your house, something like right. And you said for each penny of tax relief, it was going to cost the city $1 million. So you showed them 5 cents, 5 million, 8 cents will be 8 million. So meager 8 cents. It wasn't that you were just getting 8 cents off of your. So I don't even think the person understood what it
Right.
meant. It wasn't 8 cents off of release. It was 8 cents per $100 of assessed value. Correct.
Right.
So
Instead
for
of
a thousand.
$1.30, your rate would now be $1.25 or to be $1.22. And so those are all the things that I propose. I propose a relief reduction. And again, I could not, in good conscience, commit to 8 cent or 5, but I could give you a tax relief credit because we have some unforeseen things coming down the pipe. We have one thing that we could potentially miss, about $9 million if this organization leaves the city and it's taken over by the state. So instead of raising taxes up and down, and again, it's an election season, let's do what's in the best interest of the citizens by giving a credit.
Give them a
So,
credit. That way, if we do lose the $9 million, you're not raising it up and down. You just won't get the credit. Your money will
right.
go back to where it was.
Yeah.
So let's talk about this $9 million unexpected. I'm gonna ask the question flat out. Is it true that we have a city councilman sitting on council right now with a $7 million lawsuit against the city?
Yeah, that's public information. So when people talk to me and say forensic audit, yeah, I think we should have one, but I think it should start with council. If
So
I'm
that was one of the things that they asked for at the very end. They were like, we need to have a forensic audit. Now, help people understand, because you said that we do a yearly audit. There's probably should be a turnover audit when you go from one run regime to the other. But a forensic audit is deeper. What is a forensic audit? How long does that usually take? And how much could that possibly cost the city?
A forensic audit is an audit of transactions. That is, they're looking for something. It's an audit of transactions. And it is an opportunity for you to see every single transaction associated with something that you're doing. As an appointee and as an elected official, we have to fill out a form that identifies all of our assets and all of our liabilities, everybody we owe. And so as an appointee, I have to go through a whole interview process, which they do a complete background check. Well, a background check entails everything associated with between your credit, between not only with your credit, DMV, it goes deep into your background. You got to take fingerprints. They run it through every system to make sure you haven't done any violations. Have you been in jail? Do you have any pending lawsuits? The same way they found other person. They don't make the council do that. Council members don't do that. So when
You just get on the council. And we know that because we've had council people who had to get off because they caught charges. We've had council people have child support cases come up, have all kinds of crazy. We've had crazy stuff on council, so it doesn't matter with council. But if you have a city position like yours, you got to go through the whole rigmarole.
And they do a social background check on you as well. And so, to see what you're out there doing and, all these things. But we don't require our elected officials to do that at all. So,
now, you're allowed to go to strip clubs and still work for the city.
Absolutely. So when you...
Okay.
So the other part of that, I think a forensic audit would be a great start. And I think it needs to start with council. And because that way it's full transparency of who you have in that seat making decisions. One thing that I was always taught in accounting, if you broke, don't put that person in charge of a bank. And the council makes policies that could influence anybody. So if I, and I'll let that speak for itself. So if you have a forensic audit, that would identify your transactions. So when you have your contribution report, when you're running for council, you're required to have a, what do they pay there for campaign contributions? There's a report that you have to do to the state. I think that you can actually see what transactions have transpired, who's donated. So those are some things that they have in place that would be great if somebody could do a forensic audit on the paperwork that we signed to say, these are our assets, these are our liabilities. We don't have this debt, we don't have that debt. We have this amount in these securities. I mean, it's an in-depth report of your transactions. And so as elected officials, I think they all should go through that. Turn in tax reports, tax records. Are you behind on your taxes? Are you delinquent? All of those things should matter when you're electing somebody to set policy for your hard-earned taxpayer dollars.
So you're saying they should go ahead and audit, because you brought out something that I thought was interesting. I never thought of. It was just really interesting. that we have people that were doing campaign fundraisers, but aren't running for office.
Yeah. So I saw some with some of y'all council people, and mine too, because I live in Port, selling yacht dinners. You selling a yacht dinner, and it says Portsmouth City Council. Why are you selling a yacht dinner for Portsmouth City Council and your seat ain't up for 3 years? But I'm tripping. It's me.
Maybe they just trying to get a head start on if they run again.
For what?
I
The
don't
mayor?
know.
To
I'm
run
just
for the
trying.
mayor?
I'm just
No.
trying. I'm just trying to put things in the focus.
And they
So
usually close out those reports and they submit them to the state. But you can keep them open as long as you want to, because then you don't have to turn over everything. So, there's some other things. Listen, follow the money. It'll take you where you need to go every time.
So my last question, and this is going to be very pertinent, and then I'm gonna let you go because it's past my bedtime. My last question: people talk about a yak sale. People, well, first of all, yak is delicious. It is a delicacy if done
I
right.
think Elvira did yacht, and I think everybody loved her yacht.
Okay, I was on the show. If you actually go and watch the show, what's good, I was on the episode about yak. Y'all can check that out as well. My last question is, one of the things that people, a hot button topic, is that Portsmouth is the Las Vegas of Virginia, because we have the casino. And apparently casino money is putting us head over heels. We should all be swimming in money like Scrooge McDuck now, because we have this casino money. Explain to me what's going on with the casino money and how it's delegated and what we've got going. Because you told me an interesting subject about the money that we're getting from the casino.
Casino, can I tell? Let me say this, and let's say it together. Let's chant. La, 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 la. Thank you, Jesus.
La, 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 la. Thank you, Jesus. Okay.
Portsmouth does not own Rivers Casino. Rivers Casino
Okay.
is located in the wonderful city of Portsmouth. In 2023, Portsmouth received about $15 million in casino gaming tax revenue. That $15 million was going to offset some of the things in the budget, i.e., the 3.5% now GWI, general wage increase for employees. It was going to be able to give the school some additional funding. It was also going to be able to do this reduction in tax. Again, where do you think we're going to get the credit from? From revenue that we get from the casino. We used to transfer money from the utilities to balance our budget, because we would always be about $10 million short because there was no new revenue stream. We stopped transferring so much additional funds from utilities so that they can begin to pay for their own projects. Because again, we have a failing 100-year-old infrastructure system. People all across the city understand that when they're underwater, what happens when that is. So they were going to be able to use their money for projects. Fast forward, those things were going to offset and supplement what we would not have to get from utilities to cover costs. All right. So understanding that, because that's pretty cut and dry. The schools came and asked for, in their statement of needs, $15 million. Well, we only got $15 million additional revenue. So how can I give an 8-cent tax break and that's $8 million, if the schools has now asked for an additional $15 million in addition to what they normally get? What the schools does, and again, the schools hasn't finished. That's another thing they talked about. The financial report and audit is due by December 15th, 2023, or December 15th of any year. Schools hasn't finished their audit, their component unit. And because schools hasn't finished their audit, we are unable to produce our financial report. Our financial report is our report card. It is our credit report when it comes to credit rating agencies. My fear now is that the final deadline is March 31st for us to really get this over the hump. We are trying to purchase a facility. If the schools is not finished with their financial report, we were just going to move on. I'm not there anymore, so I'm not sure what they're going to do. And that's our report card. There were 2 things the rating agency had an issue with and a concern. 3 things. 1, the city is always in the newspaper for its turnover and all of the bad publicity. 2, the city has people on who got lawsuits out the yang for Portsmouth, because that doesn't look well. It always looks like you're vulnerable to have to pay out a bigger lawsuit. And 3, collective bargaining. So when people say, one of the council members said, well, we good, our credit is good. No, it's only good because you have a person that understands the financials of Portsmouth who can explain what is going on. And you can explain that in a way that's eloquent and understandable to your rating agencies. But you don't have that anymore. So I don't know how how y'all going to get over the hump of buying a facility with a report that's not done yet. And I'm sure the schools is going to have some money to turn over. Make sure that council stays on schools and make sure they return it. Because Portsmouth has some heavy lifts ahead. Why give additional funds if you ain't spent what you got in to start with? So let's fast forward. So if you don't have these things addressed when it comes to the rating agency, it's like going for your credit. Every time that your report is not on time and is not provided to the local agencies for reporting purposes, what happens is it's like your credit. I'm 30 days behind. I'm 60 days behind. I'm 90 days late. All of that affects your credit rating. So you may lose your credit rating at this point. It may decrease. And we were always trying to find a way to increase it by not taking out additional debt, by not doing a transfer to balance out our budget. But again, people don't fully understand when something happens. It's a trickling effect. It's just not a one and done. It affects everything that happens moving forward.
I had to change my
I saw you freeze.
I did. I froze for a little bit, then I had to go to another. We have constant IT problems on this show, which will be great because our new city manager got 30 years of IT experience.
I
So
wish him well. I really do. I hope he comes and do a stand-up, amazing job. But I hope that his grave is not dug for him before he even gets in the door. Because again, one of the things you have to understand is that if your 30-day temporary contract interim wants to replace every department head or unfilled position with a temp from her agency or from the agency that's contracted, she can. City council don't have to sign off on that. Period.
there's so much to it. We've been on here 152. We're supposed to do 1 hour. We at 2 hours. I'm gonna let you get your final words, whatever it is that you want to say. I'm gonna go ahead and let you get them out, because we could be here all day with the way that things will go. As Portsmouth turns,
Okay.
but we're
So
gonna try to get away.
So one of the things, my purpose of coming here was not because I'm a disgruntled employee, because people tend to, oh, she came up there because she's disgruntled. I ain't come to y'all because I'm disgruntled. Technical difficulties.
I got them. We back.
Yeah, I didn't come knocking at anybody's door. I left out of there. I love how you put it down. They told me your time is up. They didn't ask me to stay. They didn't say, hey, transition, just make sure all these loose ends are covered. They said, Mimi, it's it. Today's your last day. I'm gone. I thank them. I appreciated all the confidence that certain ones had in me. And I did my job, and I did my job well. When I tell you I love city employees, when I went into that chamber, we had employees that had my name on their shirt that says vote for Mimi. I have never ever seen employees gather together to support a city manager in all my years of any local government that I've served, who were very supportive because they know what we've done for them and what I was willing to do. I'm like Dr. Washington. Don't come for my employees because we're gonna have problems. I'm not saying they all right, but we're gonna fix it to make sure it gets right. And that's one of the things that I pride myself on. Let me see your issue. Let me see your problem. We're gonna work this and fix this together. I'm not gonna leave you on an island by yourself. I have a love for Portsmouth because I'm from Portsmouth, And again, I think Portsmouth has some heavy lifts, but it has to start with the November election. Y'all have to figure this stuff out. And I didn't realize so many people don't understand government or just government, period. So I'm going to find a way to try to bridge that gap because I have nothing but time on my hands. Right now. Uh, the thing about it is we're all wanting a better Portsmouth. Nobody comes here because they want to fail. People come here because they want to make it better. But people need to be more aware of what's really going on. So when people start spewing out foolishness with their low self-esteem and their dark clouds, and let me find the right words because I did write it out.
Oh Lord. So let me while you finding those words, let me let you know a couple of things. Yes, Mimi does live in Portsmouth. Mimi born and raised in Portsmouth. She graduated from the wrong high school, but she's from Portsmouth. She went to that dog school. We'll talk about the Portsmouth Partnership and their role and what happens at Portsmouth at a later date. Because that's a whole different ball of wax. With how Portsmouth Partnership works in the city. That could take us a whole nother couple of hours. And what was I going to say? And the Troya, I don't know what his name is, but it's the Troya. He definitely has an issue with, but if you actually listen to some of the things that she said, remember she's been in this position. She was in the position for 1 year, 3 months. So that means a lot of the things that were happening wrong in the city were happening wrong prior to her coming in here, even under the leadership of the lady that they brought in that's supposed to be here for 30 days, that we feel like is going to be here for a little bit more than that at $30,000 a month. So I'll say this to you, Mimi. I don't think you got every single thing right. But I also don't think that it's possible for you to have been able to get every single thing right in your position. I think that when you are managing a city of 97,000 that we have here in Portsmouth, a city of 97,000 people, a workforce of approximately how many people work for the city?
Close to 2,000 if you include part-time.
You said close to 2,000?
Mm-hmm. If you include part-time.
So 2,000 different people, 2,000 people in there. Every department ain't gonna run perfectly. So the Troya has a problem with what was happening in waste management.
We can talk weeks for waste management, honey, because they still messed up, and the usual suspects are now in charge. But again, and it's gonna be even worse because what we were trying to fix has now gone back to the way it was, and we didn't even discuss that. But I mean, they just need to take that to council at this point.
So there you go. So the Troya, because you claim that Mimi is the reason why waste management is where it is.
Waste management. Let me address that. Okay. Waste management has been a mess for a long time. Make no mistakes about it. And whoever paid him to get up here and do that, bless his heart. Do you know that in waste management, where the people who were riding on the back of the trash trucks, I was told that they couldn't work for the city. They were all temps because they didn't deserve a salary to ride on the back of a trash truck because nobody saw that their position was valuable. How dare you? So
I want to make sure now there's two things that I want to make sure, and these two things are, when you start devaluing people, I think it's important that we know that we have people in leadership who have made those types of statements. Mm-hmm. The temporary city manager that we have in place now is the one who said that city workers, that the people on the back of trash trucks weren't deserving of salaries.
This was what somebody in public in waste management told me. This is one of the people, they told me that because I asked, why don't we have these people working permanent? And again, she didn't tell me that, so I don't want to drag her name and say that. But gotcha. A person told me that what was told to them by leadership. And I said, okay. So I posed a question. If a person, if one of your people didn't show up for work at all, that ride on the back of a trash truck, would you be able to perform the services of the city? And the operations man who's in charge now says no. The person she put in charge right now told me no. We cannot operate the city. We can't produce the services. So of course I'm like, then why aren't they hired? They should be full time. So they had positions, and these people got mad because I gave these people jobs. Why would you keep paying a person a temp? They got families, and we need them. And so the administration office used to work 12-hour shifts, but they weren't coming in till 9 o'clock. And I got so many calls from people saying I can't get in contact with anybody at Waste Management. Why are you working a 12-hour shift? You're not out there taking up trash. Admin, the city is open from 8 to 5 every day. So you need to be on your post as an administration person, as admin, from 8 to 5 to take these phone calls and address operations of that department. They got mad about that in Waste Management. I've gone over there for 7 o'clock meetings to try to figure out what happened. Is I cut off a lot of their side hustles. If you want to be the truth, you have people going in picking up contractors, bulk pickups during the week when they should be picking up trash and bulk trash. So we have contractors that have side hustles with our people. That's why we put trackers on the trucks. Okay. So if you want, again, anytime somebody come for me, there's a reason. When I start cutting your side hustle money off, because I'm seeing trucks on Saturdays and on Sundays. Why am I seeing trucks after hours at 7 p.m. not picking up? They picking up contractor stuff, side hustling. Oh yeah. Don't say we ain't doing what our job. And you're right.
That one hurt. That one hurt me. That one hurt me.
And making you
then and then another, and you can help me substantiate some stuff that's been going around. I also heard, and I got this on good measure, that the temporary interim city manager is not fond of the homeless population of the city, and it does not want to help them in any way, shape, or form. Would prefer to just have them out of the city.
In her mouth.
Yeah, don't put no words, but that's what I've been told. So you can help me substantiate that.
But
I'm gonna find out.
There for 30 days, you should not be able to hire and fire people. Let the new person do it. But again, talk to the person who's oversees these programs when we talk about it. We need to support everything associated with the homeless program, because if it wasn't for the volunteers we have, our homeless would have no shelter. We invested $10 million into building a new homeless shelter on some property that we have. And we're using ARPA funds, which are grant funds, to do it. So
hopefully we still get it with you out of there. All right, so let's shoot down some stuff real quick. Okay. Is the city borrowing fire trucks from other cities?
No. Oh God. So fire trucks?
I'm just telling, because this person is coming in and they coming in like they know everything and they coming in hot. It says right here, the city borrows fire trucks from other cities. Now, what I will say is that is incorrect, but we do have partnerships with other cities that if something is happening close to them, that they can come over and they can use Portsmouth as well.
And here's the thing, we bought several brand new fire trucks, and the firefighters, some of them, remember I did that whole thing.
That was in the video.
On the fire truck and broke the ladder. They running the fire trucks into other things in the city and tearing these new fire trucks up. Fire trucks not cheap. It takes a year to build a fire truck. It takes a year to get that equipment in here. So when somebody says something like that we had to probably borrow it because you broke the last one.
And the last part is, I did notice we got the white cloud trucks. So they got the new trash trucks, the white cloud trucks is what you call them in your report. Can you just go ahead and tell this person, because this person is also, they know everything. I don't know how this person knows everything, but they say that the trash trucks ain't ours either. So what's up?
Big trucks. We lease trucks from big trucks, like every locality in the world, Craig. If you go to Norfolk, if you go to Chesapeake, because we got it on a cooperative agreement. Basically, what was happening, our trucks were breaking down and we don't have the mechanics who can fix them. You know how hard it is to find a mechanic? So what we did is we started doing some research.
Mechanic on every corner. I know. I got a mechanic named Psycho. It's my guy.
So what we did is our trucks kept breaking down. So what we did, we said, how can we now reduce how much, because the trucks are very expensive. And so what we did is we found a cooperative agreement with the state, with all the localities, with this company they call Big Trucks. And so the benefit of these big trucks is when one of our trucks go down, Big Trucks will bring us another truck to keep us moving. So we lose no time. We didn't have mechanics to be able to fix the trucks because they were complaining to me that the trucks would stay back there 3 months, 6 months. We can't get trucks. We ain't got enough. So now we have a full fleet of ready to go waste trucks. And we even purchased a smaller waste truck that can get into those little smaller corners that don't have to take as big of a lift. Again, I wasn't born yesterday. I've been doing this for 26 years. And so if you ride around Norfolk and you
Which
can
is not
almost
more than 7,
more than
according
seven.
to, it's
If you
not
go
more than 7, according to a certain councilman.
if you go to Norfolk, Chesapeake, Virginia Beach, they lease their trucks from big trucks because they also do the maintenance on these trucks. So now we're out of we don't have any cut in service, any shorter service. Now only thing we have to do is keep them clean, and then they will replenish our trucks every year or every 2 years. So you're going to always have up-to-date equipment. Again, somebody who's paying somebody in waste management to come at you with these questions because I done put them on blast.
Nathaniel says hire a certified mechanic and just pay him that money. I think if it was that easy.
You can hire I can say I can just go hire a president, or I can do that. People got to apply. We even raised up how much money they get. It was such an inequity in just the mechanics alone. So we actually started going to other auto places in Portsmouth to say, hey, we need some experts to be able to either help us get some of this equipment fixed, because again, waste management, those are just trucks. We have a whole fleet of vehicles around the city, just not trash trucks. We got fire engines, we got ambulance, we got tree things, we got
tree things.
Yeah,
tree
so
things.
We're not talking when we have our whole city fleet.
And they got regular cars. They have regular police cars.
When you're that small-minded to think that your department is the only department one mechanic, hiring one mechanic though. And remember, we used to do the repairs for buses as well. Cut it out. When you don't know, you shouldn't talk.
tree things. I just like to say that you said tree things. Go ahead. Finish it. Go. I'm gonna move out of it. I'm gonna highlight you and your forehead so that you can make your final. So that you can make your final. Go ahead. I'm still here. I'm still here. You just got the screen to yourself.
Thank you. Please embrace Portsmouth the way Portsmouth needs to be embraced. Portsmouth is a wonderful, wonderful place. And I really need you all to rally around your police chief, because he's going to need you as well. You know, the thing about it is they mentioned at the council meeting about crime or whatever, public safety. Crime is everywhere. It's just not in Portsmouth. But don't let anybody tell you that our police department is not doing their fair share. They're doing beyond their reach. And I don't want, again, for anybody to get any backlash over anything that they can't control. It's up to our communities. I remember when I was young, if you did something on your street, your neighbors told on you. We need to rally as a community. We need to rally as a city and do better, because everything can't fall on the city. Everything can't be done by the city. Citizens need to engage. And until you look at your community as your home, then you'll never understand what it means to pull together and push it across the finish line. I don't hate black men. I got a daddy.
Hold that. Go ahead. I didn't even mean for that to come on the screen. I was trying to figure out how to block
I got a son. Who is that stupid? I got a black son. I don't love foolishness, but I absolutely love people.
All kinds of people. Go ahead. Finish your speech so I can go.
So anyway, so I really need Portsmouth to pull together. Again, love Portsmouth and everything that it has the ability to do. We have done some great things in Portsmouth, and Portsmouth will continue to do great things. All I ask is that you pay attention to what's going on. It's an election season, and we have people who are going to start running, or who are going to announce that they're running. Just understand what you're getting. I think there's a gap that needs to be closed, and I think we need to bridge a gap between. It's just so much information that I didn't think that people. I'm shocked about how much stuff local government, how much we don't know. And yet we are here every day, and our tax dollars are making these things and services happen. So, Cletus, I just want to say thank you. I want to say a shout out to my public works people. I want to say, because y'all strong. I want to say a shout out to the fourth floor of City Hall. I want to say a shout out to finance. I want to say a shout out to Vernell Woods, who was let go, but he was a wonderful addition to the city. I want to say a shout out to Miss D Wright. Love you, girl. That's a ride or die. Utilities, y'all are my shining star. I want to say a shout out to every department. I'm sure I missed several, a whole lot, because it's 19 of them. But you all have always stood strong and stood behind me, and there are not enough words that I can say to thank you. I want to give a special thanks out to some of the people who have definitely stepped up. We changed the dynamics of Portsmouth while I was there. Again, I was only in that role for a year and some change, if I put them both together, maybe a year and 6 months. But the strides we did, I have a whole list of things that would never make headlines, but changing the process and getting these things done to bring us into the 21st century has been a huge lift for Portsmouth. And I just expect to see Portsmouth continue to grow and develop. So you all, I love you. I appreciate you, Cletus, for giving me this platform to be able to address these things that were said to me or about me allegedly at the council meeting. But again, I didn't go knocking, but I'm here now. So.
But I'm here now, man. We appreciate you, Mimi. You go out and be you, and just enjoy life. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you, all you people who tuned in. Sandra, she ain't got nothing but time. You come on, bring her back on. Sure, she ain't got nothing else to do. I'll bring her on to the show all the time.
We just hit the highlights.
That's just receipts. That's just receipts. Hey, listen, while y'all are here, I know y'all getting ready to log off. I do this every morning around 7:30-ish. So y'all can tune in to see you in the morning. That's a great opportunity for y'all to come on and see me talk about my personal life and such exciting topics as you shouldn't put both jelly and butter on toast. You should not do that because that is nasty. If you do that, if you eat your toast with both jelly and butter on it, there's a special place in the rings of hell for you. Also, if you get an opportunity, man, you go on BET Plus and you can check out the hit show Churchy, on which I play Deacon Charles. Y'all check that out because that helps me get paid. And also $1, the Cletus Comedy is all I ask for. Just to be clear, Mimi, how much money did you send me for this interview?
$0 dinero.
Because you know what people will start saying is that, that you paid me to come onto the show, blah, blah, blah. It's never anything that I do. So I appreciate everybody that tuned in, man. So one of the things that I always tell y'all all the time, Darlene, don't let the butter melt. Don't put butter and jelly on the toast, period. That is not. No, yes, that is not what we do. But the one thing that I tell y'all, man, listen, we should all be out here trying to make things a little bit better for the people that are around us, man. We should embrace every day because every day is a gift. And what I try to tell people, man, is about making somebody feel good, man. Make sure you make somebody feel good today, even if that somebody just happens to be you. Other than that, man, I'm out. Peace. I love y'all. Well, most of y'all.